We're live.
Really, we're on.
Sorry,
Okay.
guys, my fault.
Well, something electronic. They say the most satisfying answer is an answer to an electronic problem. We are continuing to talk about handyman woes, uh, things that they need to think about. Perhaps these things will help those of you who hire a repairman to come to your place think about those situations also. What I find happens to a lot of guys is they overextend themselves. It could be by just not knowing how to estimate properly and getting a job that end up they don't have enough money to finish it. And I give you a scenario. One is getting half the money up front. That causes so if they spend any money on themselves and say more than half of the job is materials, say even 3/4, you get half the money up front, you get the other half when you finish. What if you don't have enough money with half up front to even finish? So a lot of times what they do is they go to another job and get half up front there, so they start that job and they come back to your job after they get half up front there, and they start a rolling cascade of starting multiple jobs and not making anybody happy. So if you have a contractor that or a repairman that gets half and then after a while he has to go to another job, most likely it's because he's already spent enough money that he can't finish the job he's on. So if you want to continue with him, what you might consider is paying him per the half and then pay him a little bit more. So if he's at 40% and he can't get any further, have a discussion. Actually, any kind of bad situation generally can be talked through and reasoned about. And I wouldn't say just talk, but draw it out also. So you're conveying it through sound and through something written. and then, but giving money to somebody that has no intention of coming back, I don't always think that's a good thing. So you have to use your judgment on whether or not you think that person is trustworthy. And it's up to the contractor, the repairman, the handyman, to convey to the customer that he is looking after their interests and therefore is trustworthy. I think a lot of times that these guys are overextended, like a lot of people are in this world. And so whenever they get money, it goes paying bills real quick that they're behind on, and then they put some more money toward the job and they work at it. So probably what those kind of guys should be doing is letting the customer buy the materials, have them delivered to the job, and then the handyman does the labor and he gets paid according to what he gets done. Does that make sense to you? So say you had a drywall work that you wanted done. You could arrange to have the drywall delivered, the drywall mud delivered, the tape, the corner bead, all those things. Of course, you're kind of halfway relying on the guy that's, estimating the job. Hopefully you might be involved and double check. There's some videos that I have and some numbers that we did, I think, 2 weeks ago about how to estimate drywall. So you would then not have as much risk of him, getting money from you that he didn't actually do anything for, do enough for. So you buy the materials and he doesn't get to mark them up. Okay? And then you pay him according to the labor in the job, according to what he's got finished. So you agree on a certain amount for labor, and he gets percentages of what he gets finished. That way he has money, and he has that carrot in front of him to finish the job properly by accomplishing all the things he needs to do. It's really important that communication. If you feel like the repairman or handyman cannot afford it, there's a real expensive, like a Pella window that's $5,000. I wouldn't put it in his hands anyway. 10,000. So you're starting to, if you are doing that, you're relying on a general contractor or somebody like that that has plenty of money to spend $5,000-6,000 on a picture window with a round top, or a entry door with 2 side lights, double door, $3,000. He may not have $3,000 to purchase that, and then deliver it without scratching it. That requires a special vehicle too, or trailer, and a lot of care to get that done. So those are things, if you are the person using that skilled technician, you might need to consider. Or if you are the skilled technician, you need to consider also, hey, can I afford this? Let me be talking this out with a customer. I don't have $5,000-6,000 in reserve to carry the materials, and I need to talk to them about that. Can we do this in percentages? If he's going to buy the materials, can we, when I get this much percent done, instead of taking half up front, take percentages per what you get accomplished. And if at some point where there's a disagreement to what percentage is done, you need to stop right there and not go to the end of the job to have an argument. You need to determine, hey, this is what we both agree on, and both of you can give and take. What percentage of work is done and what needs to be done next to get the next percentage. So these are things you need to consider, because Joe Blow might not have $5,000 in his vehicle, or maybe he has a $3,000 truck and he has $20,000 in his account. Maybe, not likely. What I'm going to suggest is, if you intend to spend that much money, why would you want to get so far removed from picking the door or the window or the flooring? I suggest you would want to be thoroughly involved in picking that material. Does that make sense to you guys? So pick the material, purchase the material. That way, the only thing you're out is he has to go get it, then he has labor going to get it. Now, you might not have considered that, and maybe he didn't either, but there can be quite a lot of labor in going to get the material, particularly if you're an hour away.
Or you have to find it.
Right, or it's not at the place that you thought it was, or they even said it was when you called them. Oh yeah, we have that. Then you get there and it's not there. Again, if you're the homeowner or the owner of the business where you're hiring somebody to work, I understand you're busy, but how important is this project to you to get it done the way you want? I just got into, and I've been doing this for probably 40 years, if you count in Florida and so on. I just had a discussion with a woman who believed that I had misunderstood her on what type of staircase she wanted. She said, "Oh, well, I just didn't tell you, and you'd already built it, and therefore I didn't, I take some responsibility because I didn't tell you what I wanted. And I want this really steep staircase with shelves underneath it." But the fact of the matter was that she actually sent me a picture of what she wanted, and what I built was what she wanted. So we had to have that discussion. That's the thing about text by way of the internet or by way of your phone. You know, all these things require. Oh, it is it when you text something on the internet, or you even say something on the internet, it is as if you are in a court of law saying it. You go like, well, I didn't mean it. But it is as if you said it in a court of law. It can be used against you in a court of law. You've made it public knowledge what you just said. Okay? So it is important to get clear understanding by way of text or discussion and or writing it down. But do you want it on the internet? That's something you have to decide. But understand, when you say something on the internet, it is there even if you change your mind and you don't mean it no more. Like, I think that person was no good at it, at what he was doing, might have been, but guess what? He's better now. But what you said can be used to thwart his feelings later. Or what you say in text, when you go to court, now you said a certain thing over here, but you didn't have the context, you didn't know, you said it. It is as if you were in the court room. You said those things. So it is very important that you are clear about what you want. If you don't like that color, be involved as a homeowner or a business owner.
Don't wait until the job is done. Good Lord.
You want to get what you want to get. I have no problem as a long time person that interacts with what people want specifically. If they say they don't really care, that's one thing. But if they say, this is what I want, I have ordered it, you are to, on that order to pick it up, they deliver it, you can't chew them out. You ordered it. The person you ordered it from might not have done what you wanted, but you are now responsible. You see what I'm talking about? Whereas if he misinterpreted what you meant by what the color white is, which, by the way, there is a bunch of colors of white and brown and green. Each brand has their own names for something similar. So be involved, thoroughly involved, and that way you don't get marked up prices. Another thing that this lady that I just recently dealt with a week or so ago, she was like, oh, I thought that it was industry standard, which is odd. I wouldn't consider repair work an industry, but, they're not that organized. But let's say that it is. That I would think it was industry standard for everyone to show their receipts. Okay. No, it is not. Not even close. Not as an electrical contractor where you have contracts. Not as, no, they give you a billing for materials. They give you a billing for labor.
And you're allowed to mark up materials.
Well, I don't.
But you are allowed to mark them up.
It is considered industry practice a lot of times to triple charge for materials.
At least double, usually triple.
So some of it is on the idea that relay or that breaker was already on the truck, so therefore you had already gone to the store, bought it, put it on the truck, and then drove it to that person. So they, that's kind of the idea. But they want to make a profit on materials also. So I personally don't. I leave it. And if you're the owner of that business or the owner of the house, maybe you don't either. Maybe you would like to be thoroughly involved, know what the costs are, pay the costs, because you're going to anyway, if you had good intentions.
We've been married
I've always offered them. I've always offered them. I have no problem at any point. But this particular one, whenever she asked at the end of a 2-month job, I flinched because I had over a 6-month period, I had put a lot of receipts into one container and it overflowed. So I dumped it into another container, bigger. That just mixed it all up like a bingo ball,
Plus
cage.
the fact that you were doing additional jobs in the evening and sometimes in the morning.
Yeah, I had to determine which were hers. I've been working 16 hours a day, 12, 16 hours a day for a long, long time. So what I'm saying here is, if you have the materials under your control and your thumb, you don't have to worry about that person making added profit off of the materials. And that's kind of easier on that repairman / handyman / contractor, whatever you want to call that person.
As long as you make sure you get what they say.
Yeah. They generally, especially with somebody that you found that was cheaper, that person that you found is cheaper, it's not going to have the money, as a rule, to have $5,000 or $6,000 to carry them through purchasing that kind of materials. They're just not. So I suggest you get involved if you are in a project that requires a lot of money. Thoroughly involved. Now,
I don't know that we can do a 5,000.
I have.
We have, but I don't at this particular point. That would be
I don't know I could buy a $5,000 window.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I would be particularly worried about buying the wrong window if they didn't order it.
Yeah,
So if they ordered it, why wouldn't they pay for it?
yeah.
So I have been involved with double doors with side lights on each side, and $1,500 is a cheap door with a side light on it. But you can spend a lot of money on ceramic tile and then order it from overseas to come over Italian made, and it's not what you wanted.
Oh, that's right. That one job when they were all different sizes, Italian handmade.
Yeah, it was. So I would suggest that gives you more power as the person who purchased it to negotiate with the company you bought it from. Whereas if your contractor bought it by your recommendation to buy it, that's what you wanted. Now they are saying, well, I bought it, but my customer wanted it, and my customer's not happy with you see how disconnected it is? Whereas if you bought it and you were having a contractor put it in, you say, hey, look, I bought it. I'm not happy with it because I wanted better quality and I want my money back. That makes a lot simpler sense. So being involved with colors and types of materials, it allows you to be tactile, which is to touch it and to see if you really feel good about it. And I remember many times if I had a woman brought me a color card from the paint store where she picked it out, and it's on a little square, and I purchased the paint to paint the room, and she said, oh my God, when I got done, I don't like that, we're gonna have to repaint it. But if she just said, well, I want a dark purple, I'd have been in trouble for picking it because she didn't pick that. But if she did pick it, then it puts you in a position where you'd like, hey, I picked the wrong color, I didn't know it was going to be that dark. By the way, when it comes to paint, it's always, when it's on the wall in a larger area, it is always darker.
Yeah.
Maybe not dramatically, but always darker.
I don't know. It's pretty dramatic.
Sometimes. So when you're dealing with that person, you need to keep in mind that they may not have the ability, nor do you want them to mark up that material when you could have purchased it yourself and saved the money. Maybe you say, okay, well, you can buy the smaller things and, the nails and screws, and I don't really care if you mark up that a little bit, maybe. But I suggest when it's a large project or a very large expensive item, you want to be involved. That would be like going, out.
Diane's here.
Hi, Diane. So be prepared to purchase the type of material that you want and the brand that you want, and know the cost because you paid for it. So I suggest that's a good move when it comes to a certain point. When you can literally tell when a guy is overextended. Do I need to purchase it? He'll go, yeah, that'd be good if you purchased it. Listen to him. Don't tilt it and put it in his lap and then say, well, he was a bad guy because he didn't let me know he didn't have the money and I wasn't going to give him more money. Why do you want to? Why wouldn't you want to be, in front of that situation? Take control of it. See what you want, get what you want, and have that person with skills and tools do it. Another one would be sometimes you have to rent expensive equipment that you couldn't afford to purchase for a job. Like I have a big electric jackhammer. Not every guy is going to have $500-600 to spend on an electric jackhammer to use it once every 3 or 4 years. So you're going to have to rent that. Will he have the money or the ability to pay for it? Or is that something you need to get involved with? Say with a tractor or an excavator or a mini excavator.
Or
trencher. Yeah, those are all things that he might not be able to go get or be able to pay for. So, one of my favorite ones to mess with is airless sprayers. As much as people like them because they cover really well and they get into really tight areas that my brush has a hard time doing, they always have a lot of possibility of bad things happening. So you can't always rent those things. So if you're the homeowner and he's like, oh, well, I'll just buy that cheapy one. Well, if he doesn't know how to clean it properly, then he can literally ruin, on the first use, an airless sprayer.
Yep.
So,
that's how we know.
yeah, she's thinking about, we tried to use the cheapy, we guess we should have done reviews, but like Walmart, airless sprayers that you can buy for like $40. Try them out and they work like one time, and if you don't clean it perfectly, it doesn't work the next time. And it could get right on up to the medium grade ones that are $200-300, and then it goes on up to a $2,000 airless spray rig. If it's not cleaned properly, it's over. You can rebuild them, but they're expensive to rebuild. So understand and ask questions of the guy. And if you are the guy, you need to explain to the homeowner/business owner, I am getting in over my head. I don't know that I feel comfortable trying to use an excavator or go get an excavator or use an airless that might end up putting spray all the way down the street because wind carried the overspray. And I can't tell you how many times I have driven through a neighborhood, a nice neighborhood, and saw paint on the shingles where they sprayed the little dormers and stuff and didn't quite get it, up against the siding. Not picking on those guys, might have been the most professional ever and didn't happen to notice that they actually did spray the shingles. Nor did the homeowner, because here I'm driving by and there's no sign of anybody there to paint. But I've seen it many, many times. And I have seen at least 6 cars that people purchased for cheap because airless sprayers were spraying on a 2-story house or even a 1-story house, and the wind came along and blew that air, that is paint, onto cars down the street. So you start seeing, moving responsibility. A painter has insurance maybe, but maybe not a handyman for that kind of thing. He has insurance, but not for that. Buying a car paint job. Listen to what the guy says, and if you are not comfortable as a handyman, be careful that you don't take on something that you can't control. No, and there's the problem I think we have now is we have almost too much information available. So,
Information overload.
People, they literally shut down and say, I don't know where it's at, but I know it's out there. I give up. I was dealing with somebody today, and I like the guy. He goes, well, I'll stop by and see who they use to move their materials. I was like, well, here, that's who they use. It says right here. So we get to the point where we're like, oh man, I don't want to look it up. But it's all available. That information is available. You have to ask the right question. You have to look a lot of times further than the first page. And I'll give you a supplementary to that. People call me constantly saying, I will make sure that you are on the first page of Google for your whatever trade you want to do. Roofing, on and on. Trim carpentry, whatever it is you want, I can make sure. And you know what? They can.
Yeah, because Google now, the first 5 or 6, sometimes even more.
Right.
Are paid.
You can pay to be the first on Google. Is not. And I may be getting in trouble with Google again.
I think we've given up not being
If you can pay to be on the first page, is that a truly unbiased search engine? Think about that, guys. So scroll down.
Actually, I skipped to the second page. I just did.
Yeah. Look and see what people have to say. Look at how long they've been doing it. Because if they just started, it's you don't want to put somebody who just started on a big project. They don't know anything, they don't have enough experience, they don't have enough confidence to carry themselves through. No matter how much fake it until you make it goes on, you want that person to feel comfortable. So that usually the thing to start on, instead of a whole house remodel, is trying to fix the mailbox that got hit by somebody that went by, thought it was funny to hit it with a baseball bat. Tighten up doorknobs and paint the wall in one wall for an accent wall inside of a bathroom. Fix holes in the drywall. Go outside and fix the soffit and fascia that got blew out. All those things end up tying all together the things that you need to know to be able to do the whole house remodel. So both as the homeowner, business owner, and as the handy, skilled person, you guys need to be aware of the I wouldn't say confidence, because there are a lot of fake it till you make it guys. But I would say the skill level, the experience that person has, and how much you're trying to put on that person. I have seen older guys that were now just looking for a younger guy to work with them, and they had the skill to do it. They were just too old or infirm to continue doing it on their own house, so they hire a young guy for $25 an hour to put the flooring on, because once they get down, as an older guy, you can't hardly get up.
Diane says she loves you, but she's hungry.
Should do what you need. Answer the hunger. Yeah.
I said I will. We love you and miss you. And
Right.
she says miss you more than you know.
Right. She's very special to me. So, be conscious of the fact that if you are the handyman, that you be honest about what your skill level is. I remember one of the, it wasn't the first person, but it was probably 2 to 3 years in this area doing it. I went to, I answered a call. He said, come up here. I need you to come up here and look at the work I have. And so I went up there. And he goes, what do you feel like you're good at? I told him, I feel like I'm good at this and this and this and this. What do you think you're weak at? And I told him, I said, I'm not very good with wallpaper and I'm not really good with ceramic tile. I don't have a whole lot of experience with it. Well, guess what he did? He gave me dark green velour ribbed wallpaper and elaborately expensive ceramic tile to do. Just makes my throat go hurt just thinking about it. He says, I have confidence that you can get it done. We're going to see what you can do. I'm like, I really don't want you to do this. Why don't you give it to somebody that's good at it? So I worked with him off and on for many, many years. He's gone now. But he owned 4 radio stations at the time. He had me end up working on his houses in Florida, and I'm in Arkansas. Gave me his brand new cars that the radio station owned to drive there. Gave me credit cards to go, and because he knew by that time that even if I hadn't ever done it before, that I would figure out a way to accomplish it. But you got to understand, I was very honest with him. Hey, you do know that I don't have any experience with a velour dark green wallpaper. All I know is I got to protect it. So we're talking about
This is before YouTube and
94, 90.
it might have been internet, but
96, somewhere in there, you know. I'm calling up friends of mine. Hey, man, I was like, what are you doing wallpaper like that for? That's for, like, experts. Well, this guy wants me to do it. So I wouldn't suggest you do that. But on the same account, I had the ability, if he needed a safe to be moved, if he wanted to remodel his whole bathroom later, which, by the way, had a ABCD pattern, which again is something I'd never done before. But when it was all done, it looked like you were standing in a pool. I'm not joking. It looked like you were standing in his pool, which is outside, but it was inside the bathroom.
That's pretty cool.
So then he had two sinks that are glass, Italian glass, and it had chrome pipes, and all the walls were a bright white, shiny tile. And then he had me, hey, I want you to put a little 1-inch bead all the way around of this color. I did all those things, and he said, hey, what I want you to do now is put a light behind those sinks and make them glow. I said, well, I wish you'd have told me that before. I have to get electrical. He says, so you can do it. And I figured out a way to feed the power down through and put a small light behind that made those blue glass, kind of an aqua turquoise look, shine with that light shining on it. Then he had me, after the fact, build a shelf in the wall beside the one sink and put a light in that. I can go on and on. But this guy was just totally fascinated with giving me things that I had never done before. Built 2 identical trailers so that, and I got a welder to work with me, and we made flaps so that the 2 trailers could be pulled up next to each other, big ones, big trailers, flat. And then they could be made a stage and nobody fall through between them. So he said, yeah, I know you can do it because I just know you. Okay. That is not normal. And my heart goes out to anybody who gets thrown into that kind of situation.
Well, at least now they have YouTube.
Right. They have YouTube they can refer to. Yeah. I actually turned him down on one. He gave me a project. He wanted those same trailers I was telling you to make a stage. He wanted to use one of them to put a hot tub on and a generator. And the winner of a particular rock and roll contest would get to go into the hot tub, the metal trailer into the hot tub with a bunch of pretty girls. They're all strippers, but there was at that time that's who he was mixing it with. And I told him, no, I want nothing. I want nothing to do with that. He goes, why? Because your hot tub is electric. Your generator is electric. And that's a steel trailer with water. He goes, you could do that. You just, I was like, no, I don't want nothing to do with it. They did. So he got somebody to do it, but I just, I didn't want to be involved in case somebody accidentally got the cord that plugged into the, no. It just made me feel bad about it all the way. There's nothing good about that situation. So I stepped off. But most of the time, I never said no to him. He asked me to go down to the Keys, Morada, to take a slate pool table from West Palm Beach down to the Keys, which, by the way, that's a long ride. And it was a 3-story building. He wanted it on the top floor, carrying 1-inch slate panels up there. Then he was like, hey, why don't you look and see if you can fix the screen, the kind of screen all the way around this building with a porch all the way around it. It's just the interior is where the living space was. And I was like, I don't know the first thing about how to fix the screen. Yeah, I can get it down to one point, but how do I get that last piece? Do I go downstairs, open up again and do it, and then go down to the first? I don't know what you'll figure it out. So yes, I did figure it out, but it was scary. He was a great guy in a lot of ways. He had his flaws, no doubt about it. I also liked his girlfriend, who I hate to call women that mature girls, but she was a fascinating person, and I had a lot of fun putting a collage of tiles on the floor. She wanted to break up all these tiles and make a sort of a pattern, but not a pattern on the floor. And so I was able to, and then I worked on her backyard. Had a gigantic ficus tree, which means those limbs go out and then the roots drop down into the ground, and made walkways and plants, and used a 1-year-old Hummer to go get red dyed what is that? Wood chips. So mulch, yeah. So I had to put plastic coating in there because those things all leak. It was a fantastic journey to get with her and her smarts. It was fascinating that she was even interested in him, because they were two totally different, diametrically different people. Where they came from, their education, what they did for a living, what they thought about, but maybe that's why it worked. But I would not, you got to understand, I was a field superintendent running 250 guys over 17 jobs. The kind of confidence that I have is not something that everybody has. I've been tested by fire. I was a foreman at age 19. Not because I was skilled at 19, but because I could show up on time every day. And they said, you're going to be the guy in charge because nobody else can show up every day. So I just immersed myself in trying to overcome fear and do the right thing, really focused. So like when you're walking on tightrope, you pay attention. You don't goof off. So I surrounded myself with good people, commended them publicly. So I learned all those things hardcore way to do it. You're talking about 300-pound tattooed up biker dudes and rough and tough people in the commercial trades. Metal stud, drywall, Cusco ceiling, synthetics. and more. If you want to go how far back I have, try computer floors. So going from commercial trades and running work and then being a field superintendent, dealing with aggressive company owners, yes, I had a lot of pressure to help me understand how to deal with pressure and how to do things that hadn't been done before because I had a drawing of it. So I knew it was possible. It's just whether or not I was the guy that was going to be able to get it done. So basically, it comes down to, does that person have those kind of skills, and do they feel confident with it? Do not put them in a position where they have not had the time to get that confidence. Let them build up to it. Let you get confidence in them with time. So those are things that I suggest that you do when you are working with someone that you feel comfortable with. And I believe that you should feel comfortable with the person that you're working with. You should follow your instincts. You know, if the guy creeps you out, that isn't the guy that you want working in your house. If the guy comes across like he's checking out all your stuff to maybe see if he can steal it or tell somebody to come over and steal it, it's not the guy you want in your house. If you don't like the idea of giving him money to go get something because you don't know if he's going to come back, it's not the guy you want in your house. Yes, you may have had a hard time finding somebody, but he's not the guy. Okay? So follow your instincts. If somebody's uncomfortable, note that. Ask them questions. If you are the guy that's uncomfortable, tell that customer, I have these worries. Okay? And as time passes, you'll have all that experience to draw on and say, look, this is what I've done before, and this is what I think we can do now. I'm not absolutely 100% sure everything's going to work out perfectly, but I do believe that I can get it done. And this is why. Does that make sense? You should be hearing that from that person. Let them get time to think it through. And if you feel uncomfortable that they can't do it, let them convince you with their confidence that they can. Then keep an eye on it if you feel uncomfortable. Well, kind of harping on relationships, but it is truly the hardest part you'll do is like when you're trying to find a good mechanic, you like ask your friends, who is it that you use to do the mechanicking? Oh, I use this guy over here. He was pretty good. Okay. Well, you get a chance to find that good repair person, but that one repair person may not be capable of doing everything you want. He may not be any good at ceramic tile, or he might be good at ceramic tile, but he's too old to do it anymore. Okay. I haven't gotten to that point, but I hear it all the time. Man, can your knees not, you don't even wear knee pads. How can you do that?
I don't know how he does that.
So, you know, what you have to do is measure what you think that person is capable of doing. And you're like, oh man, this is a lot of work. Well, do you want a good job or not? Do you want to be in a situation where you're happy with the guy trying to do his best?
And not only that, do you want somebody you don't trust in your home?
Right. So it doesn't matter if somebody recommended him. That guy might have changed. He might have taken on some habits that he shouldn't. He might have gotten to a point in his life where he's no longer moral, where he's no longer capable of keeping his morals. You see what I'm saying? Be careful. Follow your instincts. If you're not comfortable with that person, don't do it. If I guarantee you, a serial killer would not have killed as many people if they'd had followed their instincts. The ones that escaped are the ones that did. It's like, oh, that guy creeped me out. I wasn't going to do it. I told him no, and he tried to grab me anyway. So, follow your instincts, guys. Don't, I mean, use your instincts to let you know what you feel is the right thing.
They're there for a reason.
Right. You see things that your mind is already busy on trying to lock in on a project and colors and skill levels and all that stuff. Pay attention to your instincts because subconsciously your mind is seeing all these things and you got to be paying attention to that part also. So as a contractor, I think like with me and my boys, one of the things that helped my boys, and they're far from being ready to do what I do. They can do, I think, and I think that they have that ability because they've actually seen it done. So now it is possible.
I don't think our kids think anything is impossible.
Right, that's the way I've taught them.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what can you afford to do, what is the best way to get it done. Figure it out, see if you're the guy to do it. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't. So usually I have really good instincts when it comes to finding a good customer to work with, usually, but not very good at picking renters.
Oh no, you suck at it. That's because you women get by you.
Right, women
You
have.
suck at it.
I'm really soft when it comes to women, and they're if they shed tears, I'm pretty much whipped. I want to help them, whether or not I act like I'm tough or not. I remember one time I drove by on a freeway, and this guy was just beating the brakes off this smaller woman right on the side of the freeway. I pulled over and jogged back over to that guy and took that guy and threw him into the ditch. And I was standing over him, getting ready to walk over, and she jumped on my back and started scratching me and punching me. Mm-hmm. Leave my man alone. Not very good judgment on my part. I should have kept an eye on everybody. That's just one of many, many, many things that I have learned along the way. So follow your instincts. Try not to ignore them. Be cautious, be smart, and it's not a scary thing as you might think. It's more about finding a good relationship with that good, skilled person. And if you feel confident and they're comfortable with you, guess what? You guys can accomplish things you never dreamed possible. And dream big. That's what I suggest. I suggest you think about beautiful things that you want to accomplish, and then the guy that or gal, occasionally you find a woman that can do these things, and get those things done. All right, guys, I'm going to let this spin off, and we'll do a little more. I'll have some more to talk about for how to deal with handyman. At some point, I'd like to bring another handyman or two, but I don't hang out with handyman because I don't go down to the bar. Don't call them up and pass time. There's one or two of them that have, probably more than that, 4 or 5 of them that have tried their own business. One of them I dealt with today. And yes, I interact with those guys, and I'll see to maybe getting that person to.
Maybe don't hang out with them.
No, I don't.
Anybody, it's your wife.
Yeah, I don't hang out with any of them. Go hang out with the guys. I just don't do that. So who do you recommend if you're so busy? I don't know how to help you that. I'm not trying to cause you problems with what I tell people. I'm just trying to tell you whenever I'm done at the day, I go to my home. I don't go to the bar. I don't go fishing with the guys on vacation. I just don't do those guy things. I'm too busy creating a future and fixing things for people till 12 to 16 hours a day, that when I get home, there's more. Right. She's got things that she would like done. And also I have renters, and they have things that break. I have had them catch houses on fire.
Okay, we've had them
set houses on fire, yes. So I don't have time to go find out who I would recommend that I hang out with. It's just not that way. It's like, oh, did you come from the same tree? No, I did not fall out of the same tree where a bunch of other guys like me. It's, it's just not happening. All the best, guys. I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, please call, text.
Leave them in the comments, email.
Yeah, in the comments, something you'd like me to talk about. I'm obviously got the gift of gab. And
the comments are probably the best place to catch him. He usually keeps, if you email, you're getting me.
Yeah, if you email. Because I don't, I have, when I get home, I sit down and then maybe I fall asleep.
Yeah, you don't mess with email. That's computer, that's wifey.
We kind of share, that's her responsibility. She doesn't try to do what I do, and I don't try to do what she does.